What up guys, Ryan Hanley coming to you with RHX, the Ryan Hanley Experience. I just got done reading another article about the insurance talent gap and how do we find good employees and why is it so hard for insurance agencies and carriers to find the next wave of insurance professionals and I'm so sick of reading that article because it's nonsense. And the reason that it's nonsense is because the people who write these articles, who blame, because ultimately they end up blaming millennials or the economy or some godforsaken thing, and none of them look in the accountability mirror and ask themselves, is it me? Is it my organization? Is the way that we position ourselves? Is the way that we talk about ourselves? Is the benefits we provide? Is it the culture? Is it the technology? Is it the role that we allow young or new to the industry people to play? And I'm just so sick of reading that article because I think good organizations don't have a problem finding talent. You know who I never hear complain about finding good talent? Really well-run, fun, exciting, technology-forward, growing, enthusiastic, energetic, open-minded agencies. I never hear them talk about talent problems. You know why? Because they're awesome places to work. You wanna know why no one wants to work for you? Because your business is boring and it's not fun and you make them do stuff that this is the way it's always been done, so that's the way they always have to do it. And they're like, nah, no, I'm good. 30% of America's freelancers now. I don't need to work for you to get by and pay my bills and do all the things that I want to do. I don't need to work for you. So if people don't need to work for you, then you have to create an environment in which someone wants to work with you. And there, my friends, is the rub. So I created a short list here, and I literally just wrote this down. Like this issue is just popping out of my brain. I can't read this article anymore. Stop, please. Publishers, stop publishing this article. Writers or whoever, whatever you want to call yourselves, stop writing this article. Oh my God, it's making me insane. Guys, here's the deal. If you want to solve the insurance talent issue, here's just a few things. These are just the things that popped into my head. This is not an all-inclusive list, but this is just literally, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I just started writing. So number one, make your business fun. You want to know what fun is? Google the O'Neill Group. See what Danny Kimball and Pat O'Neill and Pat O'Neill Jr. are doing. Watch that agency. That's fun. You want to know what fun is? Check out Zach Gould and Matt Namoli over at G&N Insurance. That's fun. Those guys have no problem finding insurance talent. The next thing I wrote down, show them the money. You gotta pay them. You're gonna have to pay them. Like, if you want good people, you have to pay them a good wage. Like, you can't pay them crap money and be like, yeah, but I really want you to be amazing. It's not gonna happen. You wanna pay crap salary, then you're gonna get the dregs of some other agency that spit them off because they were too much trouble, or they didn't want to adapt, or they were ornery as hell, and they're looking for a job, but because they have their insurance license and they've used TAM before, you're going to hire them. So, if you don't want that kind of employee, then you're gonna have to pay them. Number three, you gotta show them the upside. Like, when 30% of the population can own their own business and be a freelancer and make enough money to provide for their family, they need to see what's in it in the long term. Just, you giving them a job is not good enough anymore. And that doesn't mean equity in the business. It means show them what their future looks like. Help them understand what investing in your organization means for them in the long term. It's important to them. It's important to me. It's important to you. So why wouldn't it be important to someone that you're hiring in your business? Show them the upside. What are they gonna get? It's not good enough that you gave them a job. They can get a job anywhere. They can start their own business. They don't need your job. You need them to want your job. So show them the upside. That's a big one. The next one I wrote down was you have to talk about your business. And what I mean by this is you have to talk about your business in the community or in the niche that you serve. Like, you have to be, this is the social media part. This is the creating content part. And I don't mean you, if you're an agency owner, you don't have to create content. Somebody in your agency has to be telling the world about what it's like to work in your agency? What's the culture like? What are the people like? Do you go bowling? Do you have happy hours? Can you bring your dog to work? Can you work from home? Do you have to dress in a suit, or can you wear jeans? Like, there's all kinds of things that make your business what it is, and you have to talk about it. And you have to have, at least, even if you're not super active, your website and your social media should, over time, show what it's like to work there. Because when someone really good goes and looks, if you inquire, or someone inquires about your business, like someone that you really want to hire, but they can't see what it's like to work there, they just have to take your word for it, man, that's gonna be a struggle unless there's a lot of trust already between you. If this is someone off the street that you're trying to hire that you think has a lot of potential, and they can't see what it's like on a day-to-day basis to work for your agency, they're most likely gonna say no. And the other part to that is, if you tell them it's one way, and then once they get in, the culture is something different, they're gonna leave. And you're gonna go, man, it's the millennials job hop. No, you didn't provide an adequate representation of what the culture was like in your business. So once they got there and that culture wasn't what they had expected, they left, as they should. All right, the next one I wrote down is do the work. And what this is actually speaking to the leaders out there, you have to mentor these people. When you bring someone new in, you can't just, make your list of 200 people, go call them, go pound the streets. Like, I joke all the time about, my father-in-law went and bought me rubber-soled shoes and told me to hit the road. He also mentored the crap out of me. He taught me the stories. He taught me how to sell. He taught me about the carriers. He taught me about the business. So I joke about him throwing a pair of rubber-soled shoes on me and sending me out into the world, but at the same time, behind the scenes, he was mentor. I watched him do it. He lived the life. I saw exactly how he lived in his business, and that taught me how to do it. And if you're not doing that for your people, if you're down in Florida bitching about why a young producer isn't producing up north at your agency, that's on you. You gotta teach that person, or don't bring them on. And then don't complain that you can't bring people in. Mentoring new people, doing that work, showing them how to be good at this business is part of bringing a new person on. It's required. It's a requirement if you want them to stay. Or what's gonna happen is you're gonna bring them in, they're gonna have tons of potential, you're gonna be excited, then you're gonna forget about them. They're gonna feel lost, they're gonna feel kind of alone, they're gonna feel like they don't have anyone to talk to, anyone to bounce ideas off of, they're gonna get frustrated, and they're gonna go someplace else. And you're gonna go, it's the millennials, they job hop. No, it's you. You didn't put in the work, you didn't mentor them. That's not their fault. The next one I wrote down has to do with contracts and employment agreements. And what I mean by this is, guys, it's 2019. Like, this hardcore, I'm gonna lock you in for 2, 3, 5-year non-competes. I'm gonna own all your IP. Anything you create is mine. That's such a scarcity mindset. And I think this tends to be more with bigger organizations and associations than it has to do with necessarily independent agencies. So depending on where you fit in this spectrum, there's gonna be different scenarios here. But like, you wanna set your people up for success. And when you bring them in, if you're like, everything you create is mine, you'll never own your book, anything any creative IP is mine, that's not an environment of trust and respect. Like, this is 2019. I get that back in the 80s, you could do that draconian crap and get away with it because everyone was just happy to have a job. Guys, that's not today, okay? That is not the world we work in today. Open, honest, trust. If you want them to trust you, you have to trust them. And I'm not saying just give away the world to them. I'm saying have an open and frank discussion about what they're building. And this goes back to that, show them the upside, like how what they're doing is helping them in the long run and helping the organization. If you do this right and you set up contracts which allow them to grow and feel safe at your business, they're never gonna leave. It's as soon as people stop feeling safe is when they start to bottle up and then they take off. So create, and I don't mean safe like the whole woke nation crap. I'm talking a safe place, like what they're creating, what they're building isn't just going off in the ether of some corporate entity and they feel like they're just a hamster spinning in the wheel and not really growing, right? The culture of 2019, of the 2019 employee is that of personal growth and wanting to feel like they're adding to the greater good while still maintaining their own individuality. And if you can create that environment, which is not necessarily an easy thing to do, I think there's a tremendous potential there. And the last one I wrote down, this one kind of speaks to some other things that I brought up, but I said, stop looking inside the industry, right? Like, just because someone has an insurance license doesn't make them the best candidate for your business. Now, granted, if you can find someone awesome who has an insurance license, that's a bonus. You don't have to send them to 3 weeks of school. But if you find the right person, isn't 3 weeks of producer training or licensing, isn't that worth it? I mean, to me, it seems like a no-brainer if you found the right person. And I think oftentimes someone who has spent 20 years in a traditional agency, especially if you're trying to grow, they're probably not the right person for your agency. Find people from other industries who are excited, enthusiastic, who can bring different ideas and different vantage points to your business. It's gonna be amazing what you see and hear and find when you bring these people in who aren't necessarily insurance homers, who haven't lived their entire life inside the industry. They have this completely different vantage point on the industry, and I think it provides a tremendous opportunity for your business. So, not that you can't look inside the industry, but just, it's like, I just hear people say like, oh, I can't find a good CSR. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to be a CSR. You have to care about people to be a good CSR. So go find someone who really cares about people, teach them insurance, and stick them in your agency. And now you have a tremendous CSR. So I'm so, and there's 20 more. And guys, let me know what I missed on this list. I literally just wrote this down in 10 minutes because I was so aggravated about reading articles about the insurance talent gap. Look in the accountability mirror. If good people don't want to join your business, that's a you problem, not a them problem. It's not a millennial problem. It's not the economy problem. It's not a 2019 problem. It's a you problem. So think about your business. Think about what you're representing, what your business represents to a potential solid hire or someone who has a ton of energy. What are they thinking when they look at your business? And if they're not choosing you, then that's a really good reflection of the problem. So guys, I'd love to know what I missed, what I'm wrong about. You know, again, I took 10 minutes to write this down. I was just frustrated. I thought I'd share it with you. Tell me in the comments, what did I miss? What would you add to this? All right, if you like this video, pound that like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Otherwise, I love you guys. I'm out of here. Peace.
Thank you for waiting. We'd like to introduce some Southern musicians.